This is very much a continuance of our last 3-year plan from last year, focusing very much on our pillars, modernizing the healthcare system, continuing to bring an effective and efficient education system forward for Prince Edward Island, continuing to support those 2 pillars, making sure we don't lose any of those gains, and all the while improving our economy. We need to continue along this plan, and that we have to look at balancing the budget. But what they did say to us, and this was somewhere in the vicinity of 85% of these people taking part in our roundtable, said clearly, no further drastic cuts, no further increases in revenue in the form of tax or fees. Stay the course, take 1 extra year, and let the revenue sources catch up with our spending. And the last pillar, of course, is just continuing to grow the island economy, and a big part of that will be the harmonization of our sales tax. You saw last week some huge strategic investments in healthcare, and that is to ensure that we are answering the call for the change in demographics with regard to islanders as a whole. We've got to focus on the most sick islanders to ensure that we have the space for them, and ensure that when the call is needed for any islander, that the beds and the doctors are there. So you can see up here on the screen, just again a reiteration of what Minister Curry brought on last week. But these investments in ambulances, we've got the 1 inter-facility transfer unit, and that is just going from one hospital to the other here on Prince Edward Island, and or taking the transfer patients over to Halifax, Moncton, St. John. As well, we're going to have 2 other rapid response units. It's a very exciting addition to the squad. And these individual response units will be situated in one in the west and one in the east. And they'll be on the site much quicker than an ambulance can get there. And at some points, we'll be able to do all that is needed, and we'll keep in contact with the ambulance as they move toward that. The next is our access to timely health care will be greatly improved. This is a program that's been in place in a number of provinces for some time. It's the 811 service, and this is where there is a nurse on the other end of the line for non-emergency purposes. We'll answer all questions with regard to your child with an earache or a stomach ache that your mother may be suffering from. And there's $200,000 that's going in to support the operating costs on that. And the final one is a continuation of something that we began back in 2007, and that's to continue the expansion of the home and long-term care services by another $1.5 million. This is an improvement. Home care, we have improved that budget from 2007 by almost 100%. I think the number's at 97% today. Strategic investments, as we move forward in the format of education and training, we right back as far as Best Start, and as most of you know, this has been one of the projects that we've been very keen on from day one. We pushed the levels out on this a couple of times, and this is an additional $60,000 to Best Start that will allow us to provide this service for the very youngest of islanders, for those newest of families, to help them start that family voyage. And now we're going to take that help from 24 months right up to 36 months, and so up to 3 years of age, they'll continue to get the help at home that they need. Also, the commitment to early learning centers, which is one of the proudest moments that I've had in this administration, was the introduction of the early learning centers. We are certainly the envy of the rest of the country, and we're putting an additional $250,000 to ensure that that program continues to prosper into the future. A new Smart Force PEI program has been introduced, providing $240,000 to Holland College to allow businesses and individuals to access online learning. Amazing catalog of courses. I think the number associated with it is 8,000 courses that are going to be available through Smart Force PEI. And again, just allowing Islanders the access to post-secondary education that we've strived so heavily toward. Self-employment program is the last of these new initiatives inside this education and training. Budget in this next fiscal of $2 million to assist unemployed Islanders who want to establish their own business. And we'll see how this all rolls out with regard to other programs that may be introduced through the federal programs. Just knock that, thanks. Other investments, continued investment in the Atlantic Beef Products plant, and this was one that was highly contested last year, as you all remember. It's been a very good year at the beef plant and have closed the gap out there, and under some new leadership again, with the addition of a new certified beef brand, we're starting to make some real inroads. Very tough industry to compete in, but after looking at the entire picture, we have put a budget out there for them to meet, and that budget is $1.5 million in deficit work, which we believe is a very good investment inside the entire beef industry in Prince Edward Island. A lot of families depend upon this plant, not just the workers or the beef growers themselves, but an awful lot of the spin-off that's associated with it. So we've decided that that $1.5 million is a very good investment. Further $700,000 provided to the ALICE program. The ALICE program is the Alternative Land Use Services program that complements any of the work that farmers are doing on their environmental plan. That is that they're putting in the proper berms, keeping all of the buffer zones in place. Some of the farmers have done an incredible job on this, and this is an encouragement to continue along those lines. Government will also dedicate additional resources to support the PEI Aquaculture Alliance. Aquaculture Alliance has produced incredible results in the last few years with regard to our blue mussels. You're seeing them anywhere that you go in North America on restaurant menus. We have a tremendous brand, and it is approaching the Malpeque oyster, which we're also revitalizing through this type of commitment. Budget will also see further allocations to the 150th anniversary of the 1864 Charlottetown Conference. Going to be a very exciting year, 2014. As you are all well aware, you've watched the RFPs go out to communities and groups across the island. We were overwhelmed through the 214 group with the applications that have come forward. I think they had 2,000 applications for the first tranche. Amazing response right across the island. This is going to be a very, very exciting year for the island. In our next fiscal year, we will get to a cash positive position on operating. We will still be borrowing for capital, but for the first time, our operating deficit will be less than the capital amortization. So at that point, we will be cash positive on the operating side, borrowing money for capital only. And then, as you see at the top of the pinnacle in 14-15 will be that last year of having the net debt growth. If I was going to provide a theme for this one, it's just taking our 3-year plan, putting a year on the end of it, but keeping our eye completely on our end goal. And that end goal is modernizing healthcare, ensuring that we've got the most effective, efficient education system that we could possibly have, going to our one school board, and then, of course, the lift for the economy. Having the harmonized sales tax, a complete transition in our tax regime. Those 3 pillars are what's going to take Prince Edward Island into the future, completely change the structure that is Prince Edward Island. We need our deficit to structurally change. We can't have a 1-year shot. We have to change the way in which we do business, and this is it. This is a continuation, looking at that 3-year, not taking our eye off exactly what the plan was, and we feel very confident in what we put forward as the plan.